Tifel Malti, and today I'm going to be showing you a gaming PC build for $1,885, which is equal to 1,293 euros. So to kick the build off, our motherboard is Gigabyte's G1 Sniper 5. So this has an Intel socket, which is the 1150Z87 chipset, and it's 4th generation. It takes 4 graphics cards, so you can do 4 SLI if you want to. It has 4 RAM slots. It also has liquid cooling. As you can see, there are the tubing already for liquid cooling, so you can liquid cool this motherboard. And over here is our sound. So this motherboard has the most clear sound and efficient sound that I ever saw on any motherboard. So this black chip you are able to remove and replace with another one to transform the sound to how you would like it to be. So you can make it sound a little more bassy according to how you would like it to be. It also supports USB 3.0 support. It also has 10 SATA ports. It also has as well an onboard power switch, and it supports, as already told you, USB 3.0 support. It has two HDMI on board, two HDMI ports on board. So you can overclock the CPU, which I'm gonna talk about next. So for a CPU we're gonna be using the new Intel Core i5 4670K quad-core CPU, and this is one of Intel's new Haswell CPU, and as I already told you, it's a quad-core design clocked up to 2.4 GHz, and it can be overclocked. So that's the sweet spot in the CPU, it can be overclocked. So if you're gonna use it normally without overclocking it, you can stick with the normal fan which comes in the CPU's box. But if you're gonna overclock it, you're gonna have to buy the liquid cooling, which I have put in the list of this build. So if you're not gonna overclock it, you're gonna save yourself about $100. So without overclocking it, you can stay with the normal fan which comes with it. It has thermal paste already made under it, so you're good to go. But if you're gonna overclock it, you're gonna need this, which is Corsair's liquid CPU cooler H100i. So it's a very good liquid cooler. It's plain and simple. It has the reservoir part as well in the fans, so you don't have to place anything in front of your case under your DVD drive. So everything is ready. Thermal paste comes with it as well, so you have fans over here, and you can stick this up to the case. You can also stick it to the side, but I don't recommend you to stick it to the side. I recommend you to stick it up onto the top of the case. It wouldn't be, when you stick it up on the case, you're not just cooling down the CPU, you're even cooling down the other parts which are producing heat, since as we all know, heat rises, so the fans are also catching the heat of the other parts. So it can simply take off, I mean not exactly take off, remove the heat from the case much more quicker and faster. So next in our build is the RAM, which we're gonna be using the Corsair Vengeance Blue 8GB, a pack of 2, which are 4GB each, and these RAMs are clocked to 1600 MHz, and they are DDR3, so very fast RAMs. I highly recommend them. They also have a heatsink on them since they are 1600 MHz, and they are quite fast, and they are quite not that much expensive. For around $70, they're not that much expensive. So next on our build is the graphics card. We're gonna be using the GeForce GTX 780. So one monster of a card which has 3GB of GDDR5 memory, and it also has 2 DVI slots and 1 HDMI port. It has a unique design which I really like. Oh, it is not actually unique. The Titan has that design also. So let's just say it has a very nice design, and I'm very impressed that it only has one fan. It can be overclocked, but I don't recommend you to overclock it. It's quite fast already. So you can play any game you throw at it at ultra to high settings on the resolution set to 1080p. But you might have to put down anti-aliasing a little bit if you're gonna be using 2440p resolution. So and you might even have to set the settings to high and very high once you're kind of using a 2440p resolution. So next in our build is the SSD. So this is one of Samsung's brand new SSDs, which is up to 120 gigabytes, and it's also SATA 3, so you're gonna get the best performance from this SSD. And since it's only 120 gigabytes, I'll be showing you in a sec how we're gonna do for that solution. So it's very important to have an SSD now, since they are quite stable, not as they were a few months back. They weren't that much stable, so now they are quite stable, and they will make your build very fast. So next in our build is gonna be the HDD, which is a Western Digital Caviar Black 1 terabyte SATA 3. So quite good hard drive. I'm Western Digital make some very good hard drives, and it is quite a good price, and it is also a 7200 RPM drive. I highly recommend Western Digital. They make some good hard drives, as I already told you, and it's gonna be a very good part for our builds to store your data, like photos, movies. I do not recommend to store movies in it. Not movies, games. If you're gonna store the games, store them in the SSD, so they will be much more quick to access, since an SSD is much more faster than a hard disk drive. So next in our build is gonna be the power supply. So for a power supply, we're gonna be using a Corsair X Enthusiastic Series TX 751. So a ton of capacity. This power supply is also 80 plus bronze, and for short you can also say Corsair TX 750, as there is written in the picture. A very good power supply. You can also add another graphics card, multiple hard drives, it can handle it no problem. So that's why I chose this power supply, and that it's a very good price. There was only like $10 difference between this one and the 600 watt power supply. At first I was gonna go for the 600 watts, and then when I said there was only $10 difference, so I went and said, hey, let's just use this one. You would have that extra power waiting to be used if you need it. So next on our build is the case. So which is the Thermaltake Armor Revo mid tower case. So this is the black edition, and I also chose the same case but in white. But they both have two names. So the black one was the Thermaltake Armor Revo GENE mid tower case, and the white one is the Thermaltake Armor Revo GENE Snow Edition case. So they are both very good cases. I highly recommend. They have many space to put on all your things. There's also a fan included. There's this fan included, and there's another fan on the front. It has USB 3.0 support, and it's a very good case. You can choose either the black or the white. They are both the same prices. That I just left that up to you guys. So thanks for watching, and I will be I will try to upload a new gaming PC system every month. So this is gonna be my September build, and these parts, when I all found them on Amazon, I added them up, they all came up to $1,885, which is the price from Amazon. If you buy these parts from Amazon, they're gonna be that price. When then I went to find them on eBay, they were slightly more expensive. So the parts might come up to 1,890 on eBay, but I just threw both links for each and every item from Amazon and eBay. So if eBay, for example, you usually buy from eBay and they don't have, you can buy ones from Amazon, and the other way around then. So thanks for watching. I would like to thank each and every person who makes stuff. For example, Gigabyte. I right now I really love this board, as I already told you. Intel, I always use Intel for my, in other words, CPU. I never used I used once an AMD, but I figured out that Intel do not heat up as much as AMD do. That's what I think. So it cannot mean what you think. That's just my opinion. It doesn't mean that I have the best opinion. There are many people who prefer AMD than Intel. I am just more a little Intel fanboy than an AMD. I do not hate AMD, don't get me wrong here, I like AMD, but they are not that efficient yet as Intel, since we know AMD as the budget guy. If you cannot afford an Intel CPU, you go to an AMD. But then there are those slightly less disadvantages, which is that Intel CPUs produce less heat than an AMD according to my opinion. I could be wrong, I'm not sure yet, I didn't test them out, but from the performance that I saw, I kind of think that. So now I'm trying to get sponsored by these top brands, Gigabyte, Intel, Corsair, and Asus, for all, even Nvidia, for all of their parts. So I'll be pasting each link for every item in the description below. I'm also gonna give you a Word document so you can print out the list for yourself if you want to, with the links and the parts list. So you have everything written over there. Technically, all I have to say is thanks for watching, and please subscribe and like the video if you like it, to show me that you appreciate what I'm gonna do for you guys. So by clicking the like button, you're telling me, hey, I want more gaming videos. Since now this is my first gaming video which I'm gonna build, and it's gonna be, I think, one of my top of the line gaming PC. So now I have to find more parts to make a budget PC for about $400. I will try to make a gaming PC for $400, maybe next month. So I just said, hey, it's my first gaming PC build, let me just make a high-end PC. And from the tech reviews that I saw from these parts, they are quite good, and I highly recommend them. If you have a ton of money to buy a gaming PC right now, I highly recommend them. And as I told you, I might soon be sponsored by Gigabyte and all of those brands, AMD, Intel, Asus, Nvidia, Corsair, and ADATA, Samsung, for me to be able to show you unboxing and benchmark tests between, for example, an Intel and an AMD processor, or an AMD card, which apparently they are ATI, but as you might know or not, ATI was bought by AMD. So I will be posting also if I will be sponsored by AMD and Nvidia video cards battle, kind of, with the same motherboard, everything the same, just testing games, benchmark tests. So thanks for watching. As I told you, I will also add additional items to this build. For example, if you want a stronger CPU, for example a Core i7, and a bigger SSD, I'll make a 250. I think, I'm not sure if there's 250 or 258 SSD of Samsung. I'll make a DVD drive, a Blu-ray drive, a Wi-Fi adapter, everything additional in the link of the description. So thank you.